of get lost and explore on bikes. And today our episode will be going to the magnificent Mayon volcano 360. Is located in Legazpi in Albay, and well, we basically have to just go around this super active volcano. A very rare occurrence, but we were very lucky this year. Not really lucky, but it's a sight to behold. It's just amazing that when you get to talk to the residents of Legazpi, this seems to be like a normal day for them. Just very calm. Everyone just they just go about their regular schedule. But this time, JCI is organizing, second year running, this most exciting cycling challenge that goes around the volcano. So we just want to share with you behind the scenes. Where's the bus?
On the way. Yeah,
So, so you have Bicol?
Yeah, I got Pasalubong.
Oh, very cool. We have our guests coming from the city of Manila. Please register over here. Right? We have Cynthia and Samantha over here. We have Stephanie to make sure that everyone's going to be checked in. So everyone's arrived for the next triathlon. So welcome to Mount Mayon Triathlon 2024. This video is going to be published next year, not this year. It was canceled. Okay. So behind the camera is our general manager. I mean, Tito Ramil, thank you very much, man. Making our stay welcome, for making everything happen. This is Julie, our TikTok artist. Next time you have to be in her TikTok show, okay? The owner of the bus, and Hafner, the driver of the bus. But this is the entire CRZ crew. Again, thank you very much for having and giving us a wonderful time in Legazpi. 1, 2,
CRC drone!
Okay, that's the drone. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. Okay. So from us in the city of the Philippines, welcome to the city of Legazpi. Bye. Bye. So thank you. See you. So that's the whole gang. Everyone enjoyed the pre-event gathering. Everyone's taking photographs, Instagram, and 4 o'clock a.m. Hotel Centro in Legazpi. Race day or challenge day arrives. We get all our gloves, the race numbers, shades, uniforms, kits, helmets, of course the shoes, shiny white, my favorite. Challenge ritual, go straight to the pantry, to the restaurant, get your early morning coffee. We're not used to having solid breakfast, but coffee is life. It's just cycling and coffee mixed together. We go down to the lobby, we meet up with our friends. Okay, you said 12% up, right? Okay, 12% up. Let's go. Okay, so we're gonna go. It's 5:30 in the morning, and it's a blackout in Legazpi, but your bike, huh? I heard you wanna go fix gear. Okay, we gotta look for Superman and. We gotta look for Superman and Hulk Hogan. So we're off. It's a little bit drizzling, but we're superheroes. Guard, thank you very much. Okay, we're gonna go. Roll to the starting line. It's 5 a.m. I'm with Batman. I'm with Scav. Papa Louis over there. So it's officially 5:30 in the mornings. A little bit drizzling, but weather's good. Go. There you go, the gang. There's the gang. Very nice. Okay, girls. Okay, girls and boys, go ahead. Okay. Hotel Centro was very generous in welcoming us, cyclists from Manila. We have our protector, our Marvel superhero, Batman is here anyway, so it's going to be okay. He said everything's going to be okay. So we trust him. It was pitch black. We woke up with a blackout. Okay, so here's everyone. Okay, so we're gonna go to the start line. It's around a kilometer away.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
It was so much fun. Uy, si Batman was there. So we meet up with the whole gang.
Here's everyone. Morning, coach.
Good morning. Okay, so last year this was the starting line. This year we've changed it. Oh, this is a one-way. Sorry, boys. Sorry. It's a one-way. Well, here's Ram. The group stayed in two I think three hotels. Okay, so go ahead, go ahead. The starting line was about a kilometer away from the previous year's starting line at Ponferrada Park. So we all rode together. So it's officially 5 a.m. in the morning. We're off, and the rest of the gangs. As we arrive at the starting line in Daraga, we've never done this before, but the local government of Daraga hosted the start line for this year's challenge. And lo and behold, everyone was already there. Rise and shine, 5 o'clock in the morning, on the dot. All the marshals or all the local law enforcers, PNP, was there on hand. The start finish line banner was up, sponsored by Bocari Sweat, and everyone was just smiles. Some of the gang over here, like Josh, it's their first time to be here.
Morning.
Good morning. So it stopped the rain, huh? Okay. Ice is here. Hey, man. Okay, let's take a photograph together.
Thank you.
Oh, hey,
Morning.
let's take a photograph together. One, together. 1, 2. We were so lucky that when the event was almost starting, the rain literally stopped. So we chose to stay with the boys and girls over here um, to get everyone's photos. Super cool. Everyone was just happy. Smiles were encapsulates the whole program, and that's the beauty of having a cycling challenge, not a hardcore race. And starting at the back will give us an opportunity to take videos of everyone. So we chose to start all the way at the end with Nikki, with all the other CRZ members, and it will be nice to see everyone's faces as we embark on this 84-kilometer around the volcano challenge. Um, all sorts of bikes, mountain bikes, road bikes, touring bikes, folding bikes. You can see all the bikes that you can dream of. The uniqueness of this kind of a cycling event is it gives everyone the opportunity to mix with everyone. Behind me is Charles. He rode all the way from Ilocos Norte to be able to join the CRZ community and everyone else here in Legazpi Albay. Even though the roads were wet on the first time around, we were expecting that the roads will clear up as the day wore on. Just crossing our fingers. The day or the night prior, it was just continuous raining. So, on the starting kilometers, everyone was upbeat, especially the organizers, JCI, set up some really good, we call them refilling stations, rest stations, where they would be serving the famous puto that everyone can just enjoy and meet other people, other cyclists from Tabaco, from the south of the Philippines. Nikki, Z, and the CRZ boys are behind me. So, Our goal now is to be able to start from the end of the pack and try to reach the front of the pack with a gap of 5 minutes. So from when we started and when the event started, there was a gap of 5 minutes, and this would be a little bit of a really good challenge since Mayon 360 is a challenge anyway. So we figured we make our own challenge, passing new faces and new friends. Holy macaroni, that's a famous.
Okay, so this is the Mayon 360 challenge. It's not a race, but since it's a challenge, our challenge is to chase a breakaway with a gang. So that's the gang to chase the breakaway. That's a challenge.
So slowly we just sort ourselves to be on the front of the main peloton. Since this is a single lane highway, meaning we had to occupy one lane of a two-lane highway, it just meant that the line would be super kilometer. I think the line went up to 2 kilometers long, just to accommodate the entire field of 450 or something like that. I think it was almost 400 plus. Women, men, homemakers, mom, dads. Joyce was there. They flew in. She flew in all the way from Singapore. That's Joyce on my left or behind me. And there were other guys who are very familiar. That is Uisi Batman and Papa Louie in blue. There are other teams. You can see their jerseys. Very prominent. So as we snake ourselves, we have the ciclistas over here. And of course, our dear friend, if you're familiar with Ira was also there. And Senator JV joined us for the entire ride. Despite his work schedule, he was able to join us and ride with all the other gentlemen on green. I'm not familiar with their teams yet, but they were very prominent, really nice, cool green color. And as we go through the crowd, we find ourselves at the front already. This is Ronnie Bowie. Ronnie is from Singapore also. He flew in just for this event. When you see that majestic mountain, it just gives you chills. Nikki and Z and a couple more guys with Charles. We decided to game on. So as soon as we approached the clear roads, we started our game of chase. So there were a bunch of really, really strong cyclists who were way up ahead on the road. And as soon as we got clearer roads, we decided to up the pace and bring everyone in to close the gap. So how does this work? Like how does the CRZ open road riding rules work? So usually we divide the workload. So for this segment on the first 30 kilometers, it was my job to guide the entire field. Nikki was here last year. Charles, the third man on this line, it's his first time. Z, the fourth guy on this line, it's also his first time. So to make sure that they all finish the event is they have to save their energy. So my job now is just to guide them, maintain a speed, maintain an effort, making sure that everyone is able to manage and not blow up on climbs. When I get tired, I call up Charles to help me out. So Charles promptly goes to the front, splits and covers me from the strong wind. That gives me 40% less effort. Especially Nikki, who's behind me now, also gets the same benefit. So drafting is very beneficial in saving energy, and that's the main advantage of having a good group of gentlemen around you. As soon as Charles finishes his pull, gives me a really quick rest, I go up to the front again, pace the entire group. I usually am a fan of low RPM riding just because I don't have the fitness of a young person anymore. For me to be able to go at a steady 35, 38 kilometers per hour, I needed to use my bigger muscles and pull and push that big gear. For this bicycle that I'm using for the event, I'm using a 55 chainring in front and an 11 cog at the back. So this allows me to roll it over, stay at a manageable speed, but still keep my heart rate low. So our average heart rate for the entire event is around 120 and 130 beats per minute, and that's very beneficial. So at this junction, we still have 55 kilometers to finish. 55. So it means that we've already done 30 kilometers and we still don't see the breakaway yet. So we're just gonna be pushing and pushing and pushing until we catch the group of breakaways. We we don't know who they are, but it we know that they're just up ahead. We're rolling at 35, 38, sometimes 40 kilometers per hour. Nothing crazy, nothing extraordinary. Because whenever you're in front, you don't really have to impress your friends how fast you are. You can impress them if you can manage the effort and make sure that everyone survives the entire ride. The entire ride is very, very long. And if you just show off and start flexing your muscles and breaking away, well, that's useless because you end up riding alone. That's fine if you don't like riding with a group of people or helping out your team. That's totally fine. But for CRZ, whenever we have newbies coming into the community, so CRZ is not a team, it's a community of individuals who just want to learn the beauty of cycling. So Nikki and Z, they were never cyclists before, but they decided to get into cycling during the pandemic. And when you join the community, you will be guided on how to skip time-consuming trial and errors, and trial and errors are kind of expensive. So we keep riding. When I get tired, just like so, Charles takes charge. He also is doing low RPM riding, just really steady. And I can guarantee you, when you do this Mayon 360 challenge, looking to your right, when you see that volcano, that majestic volcano, it's just going to give you a little bit of excitement and energy. And as we go along, we get closer and closer and closer. To the left is another mountain. I'm not sure if that's, I forgot. I forgot which mountain it is that. But that's another dormant volcano. And the roads leading up to this valley goes up. So the geography dictates that the first 40 to 50 kilometers are all steadily going uphill. And when it goes uphill, it means that you have to manage your effort. You always have to look at the long game. Don't look at the small gains or small sprints. Fluctuating your effort, not speed. Speed will change, but fluctuating your effort is a guarantee that you're going to get burned out. And the last thing you want to do is you burn out on the first half of the event. So we're looking at it in the bigger picture, which is the 84 kilometers. So after covering 30 kilometers, we still had 50 kilometers to go. And having a 55 chain ring helps me personally. It may not work for other people, but for me personally, cranking a 55 chain ring with a 180 millimeter crank arm helps my small, petite, physical body to be able to amplify whatever small power I have. So that's the value of joining these camps. You get to learn a lot of science that you can use on your cycling. And just like so, we started to see the breakaway. So this was the breakaway. So after 35 kilometers of chasing, we finally find the breakaway. young guns. They're really, really fast. It took us so long just to capture them. So as soon as we capture them, we bring all the guys together. Everyone lines up, and just like so, on cue, we take a rest. We just relax for a bit and make everyone line up in a formation that makes everyone stay calm and stay in control. So now we have myself, Charles, second wheel. Third wheel is Nikki, Z, Tom, M. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. So there's 6 of us now. So with the 6 gentlemen in the front with 40 kilometers to go going uphill. So this part is, I'm pretty sure it's an uphill. Not really severe, but it plays around 5 to 6% gradient. This is when you keep communicating with your team. If there's a gap, you have to shout gap. And then it's the responsibility of the person in front to just slow down a little bit. You don't have to really sprint out. So when it's uphill, line up, take as much shelter as possible. Remember, when you are drafting behind your teammate, you save as much as 40% in terms of effort. But you never do this when you are riding with other people who you don't know. So drafting formation at close proximity is only applicable when you are comfortable riding with a gentleman around you. And that's one of the advantages of the CRZ community. We all do, or everyone is taught the same way, so the riding style is always the same. Um, no erratic movements. Our PNP law enforcers were always on hand in every corner to make sure that everyone is safe, and just giving the confidence, providing the confidence to all the participants that everything is secure, and all the motorists are given the proper, you can say, advice that an event is going on. Even though it's not a race, some riders can still go fast, especially during downhills. I love using this 5-spoked wheels. Well, number one, they look cool. You gotta admit, they look cool, especially when they start rolling around. But because of their construction, they're very stiff. So a little bit of torque on the pedals instantly translates to forward speed. So I really like them. They're one of my favorite setup, especially when you pair them with the titanium frame set. So we start speeding up. We don't mind people drafting behind us. And of course, Doc Ian Banzon, you can say she is one of the fastest. She's one of the strongest cyclists on the field. We just had to make sure that she's on the line and take full benefit of the drafting. Tom was there, Charles was there. We always have a script to follow. You don't change the script. It just makes everyone feel, you can say, everyone knows what to do. The result is really smooth riding, really smooth pace line, no erratic changes on the plan. If there's a flat, everyone stops, everyone helps that one person to bring him back to the pace. Especially if this is a challenge, there's always this. I say there's always this feeling of accomplishment when you are able to bring everyone in, and I I can't stop looking at the backdrop on the right side. At night, that volcano, you can see the glowing lava. We always have our PNP personnel over here. Again, making sure that everyone goes to the right road, everyone's being advised, because since this is a challenge, this is still open roads. So it's not a total closure. So you have to be very responsible in making yourself predictable. So when we say predictable, this is one of the major lessons that you learn in the CRZ training camp, where you don't make erratic movements, no sudden swerving, no sudden movements. You have to be very predictable. JCI provided a videographer, so it's nice to sometimes find yourself on the video how you guys ride. The whole road leading up to Tobacco is an uphill, and going uphill for several kilometers really require a lot of concentration. You're not gonna hear on this video a lot of chatter going on or chit chat, just because we're almost at 80%, 90% effort, and we gotta admit we are enthusiasts. We are weekend bikers who love biking. We just feel like we're pros. We're not pros. We just feel like it. And there are segments here, just like this segment. It goes up to 10% gradient. And you can see that nobody's standing up, nobody's sprinting, nobody's spinning. When you get to the 10 to 12% gradient, you have to be very patient. So the technique is, when you approach this really long 10% grade, the trick is you have to be patient. Don't try to speed up. Use your bigger muscle groups. You can spin if you wanna, 90 to 100 RPM, but in our case, since
Okay, 10%, 10%.
so there you go, 10% gradient. Since we don't have the fitness level compared to some of our friends who can ride every day, we have to really manage our effort. So what we do is that when we approach climbs like this, instead of attacking it, we manage the effort, lower our heart rate, and instead we wait for the downhill. And as soon as you see a photographer, well, you gotta put on your best smile and best form. And our videographers and our photographers make it always fun.
10%.
Okay, so we're still at 10% gradient. RPM now is around 45. Keeping it steady is very crucial.
Yeah.
Keeping a very steady pace is very crucial.
Very nice. Thank you, man. Thank you. Right, that's you. Shit.
So the gentleman on my left is
From the Pro Cycling of Laos.
a rider from Laos. He works in Laos. According to him, we have a lot of friends in Laos. So what again? If I may just repeat that. So on climbs, we take it easy and we try to make up time on the downhill. So as soon as we reach the downhill, this is where we try to make up lost time on the climb, because we just feel like you can last longer if you take it easy on the climb and be as aerodynamic as possible on the downhill. So what we focus on and taught, what we teach on training camps, is the value of efficiency. So it's not just about going faster and faster and faster with brute force. Sometimes a little bit of a knowledge of basic sciences, particularly aerodynamics, you will find the benefits of getting used to or understanding how real life physics work. So you can do all your bike fitting on the studio, you can do all your Googling, you can do all your research on YouTube, but nothing replaces real road riding. Some of the things that makes the CRZ bike fitting protocol, or we call it biomechanics, is we ride on real roads. We understand, every rider understand, every student understand the difference between, let's say, road surfaces. So, like this one, we are on asphalt road. It's a totally different experience when you're riding on asphalt road. It's a totally different experience when you're riding on rough cement roads. It's a totally different experience when you are riding with asphalt with big rock chips. All these things make a huge difference when you are discussing riding biomechanics, bike fitting, and all the small details that sometimes we may find um, uh, not so important, but you can hear it from here, the vibration of the camera. That small vibration make a lot of difference in your riding style. That's cement, that's broken asphalt, that's everything. So having low RPM allows us to go through the small cracks on the road, the small bumps on the road, the small, you can say, chips on the road, and we can slide through them with ease. So as I get to the front, everyone is able to take a rest because we will be using every man once we get to the final 15 kilometer of the challenge. So this methodology, this approach, this principle, this style of riding is very applicable even in your real life.
It's not a race, but since it's a challenge, our challenge is to chase a breakaway with a gang. Okay, that's the gang, to chase the breakaway. That's the challenge.
After that quick photograph, I asked Charles to go in front of me. So that's Charles, that's Tom, this is Nikki approaching the camera.
Okay, keep it steady, yeah?
We have Z and then we have M, and of course Doc Banzon.
Easy.
When you approach a rough road, don't take the risk of getting a flat. So we just tell everyone.
You're gonna wait for everyone.
So the style when you approach rough roads, stand up on the pedals, absorb the shock from your calves. So you can see the calves flexing here, you can see the quads flexing here. But instead of braking, if it's not so bad, all you gotta do is just stand up and absorb the shock from the road and let the bike
Okay?
roll. As soon as you finish the rough road, you ask everyone if everyone's okay.
We're gonna try to finish all together.
And the key in team riding's communications. You have to make sure that everyone's okay, everyone's on the line. You just don't sprint out of a U-turn. You don't just sprint out of a detour. It's going to hurt the guy on the fifth. The line, the guy on the fifth of the line will really struggle. So it's always nice to just ask if everyone's together. And the tents or the food tents that we mentioned about a while ago, this is where you can stop and have a snack and have a drink. But we're on a mission. We wanna break our Mayon 360 challenge from last year. We will try to break our ride record from last year, and the way to do it is go as fast as possible on the downhill safely. Now, this style of riding is, you can say it's a little bit advanced, but the main principle is the lower you are on your bike, the more stable the bike rides. The more that your weight is at the back, the more that you can control the brake in front. So this allows, well, me to brake really hard using the front brake and not flip over. The other benefit for me is I can be as aerodynamic as possible and go at 50 to 70 kilometers per hour without making any effort. But most importantly, this posture gives me a lot of confidence just in case a dog crosses the road or a jeepney suddenly swerves. It gives me the confidence to brake so hard and not flip over. So those are some of the advantages. Tom here, Z, you can see how fast everything goes when everyone is on an aerodynamic posture. It just saves you a lot of time and brings you to the bottom of the hill at the shortest possible time. Z does exactly the same posture, same as Tom, same as Charles, same as Nikki. And this is when biomechanics really gets amplified. The way you ride your bike is or has more real life benefit that can complement your bike fitting. So bike fitting is a good start for newbies, but it doesn't end there. You have to learn how to ride your bike, and riding with a community like CRZ, and this is part of the program. So when you get bike fitted and you do your biomechanics workshop, part of it is it gives you the opportunity to ride with us, just like M, just like the individuals or just like the gentlemen that you see on this video. Joining the workshops or rides like this is free already. It's part of the package. It's a lifetime package. There's no monthly fee, there's no annual fee, there's nothing. It's just a one time service when you enroll on a bike fit and biomechanics workshop. Because we just think that to be able to continue the same lifestyle and sustain the same hobby, it would be so nice for you to join us on cycling challenges like this. Audax, it can also be races. Although not everyone prefers racing, but there is an opportunity for you to do racing apprenticeship. We call it apprenticeship because you get to learn by experiencing it with a bunch of riders who also know what to do. Everything calms down as we go through the backside of Mayon volcano. I think we are approaching Tabaco City at this point, and going aerodynamic saves you a lot of effort. So even though I'm the one in front, bringing the whole crowd, bringing the whole team forward, being aerodynamic, it really really helps. So if you remember Nikki and M, they've been resting for the whole 50 kilometers. So this is the point where they start doing their part of the role. So this was pre-planned. It's nothing random. So we saved them all throughout the entire ride so that we can use them to keep the pace steady until the finish line. So from here on, it's going to be M, Nikki, Z, who are going to help drive the pace. Although Z, admittedly, he joined Mayon 360, but already warned us that he just wants to ride with CRZ. Work and school has taken so much of his time, so he admits he doesn't have enough mileage. So when you have team members like that, like Z, who doesn't have the same mileage accumulated, all they have to do is just rest, save 40% effort, and by doing that, you can take a rest. The two individuals in front of us are Tommy and Doc Ian, so they sped away during the downhill. They couldn't help themselves. Going downhill is always fun. So we bring all the guys together again. I had to ask Nikki to close the gap. Nikki did a good job, closed the gap to Tom and Doc Ian. And on the other hand, what I do is I just, again, we maintain a low RPM cadence, but still being able to go at 48 to 50 kilometers per hour. It really helps the heart not get too strained. As soon as we overtake Tom and Doc Ian, they slot in to the formation again. And you could see Z is giving Tom that space because it was already pre-planned. So everyone knows their space on the group and it avoids a lot of confusion. Nikki, meanwhile, while he is bringing us to the top of this hill again, I think this is one of the longest hills. Just like so, he takes it steady on the big ring, not too slow, but also not too fast. just enough for us to be able to climb at a very decent, manageable pace. Managing effort is one of the key component in long distance and you can say endurance cycling, especially if you are into the ultra endurance events. Like, I consider 100 kilometers already a long distance, but majority of our viewers, especially people that we know, are not into criterium racing. They're not into speed. They're not into those violent sprinting acceleration. But there are a lot of people right now. It's a new cycling community where they love ultra distance riding. It's just a different thrill. You get to enjoy and just be with your own. And 200 to 300 kilometers are for me ultra distance. So Nikki is one of those individuals who is into Audax riding. Audax is a brand. It's an event where riders on their own pace ride between 200 kilometers, which is the shortest, all the way up to 600 kilometers. And then when you go to Paris, which is the Audax, you can say maybe I say that's a world championship already. You get to ride 1,200 kilometers, solid. So yeah, ultra distance riding, you benefit a lot from understanding how the human body can manage its effort. And to manage your effort, this already requires a little bit of knowledge on gearing, how to shift, how to go to the big ring, how to go to the small ring, how to go one gear up, how to go one gear down. And that is the primary reason why the group set, the modern group sets have been designed wherein the shifter is already on your brake, so you don't have to make unnecessary movements to shift. Unfortunately, we've seen it all too often that a lot of our friends are not familiar how to use their shifting, and this is very normal. A lot of people came into road cycling or even mountain biking late on the game. This became their hobby, especially during the pandemic. So when you start riding with us, you get to learn when to and when not to shift. So we now arrive at Tobacco. It really depends on how you want to pronounce it. But what we do now, because we're in the city center, we try to do a double pace line to shorten the pace line. Because if we do single pace line, it's going to be a very long line. So to shorten the line, we do a double pace line. So Tom has a line followed by Z and M, and then I make my line and I'm being followed by Nikki. The other benefit of having double pace line riding is visibility. So when you're riding across at high speed, having the same uniform, a lot of our friendly motorists recognize that and they give us enough space. You also notice that we don't shout at people even though we see a tricycle in front, even though we see a pedicab in front. I always stress out to our friends that we are guests in Albay. We are guests in Legazpi. We are guests in Tabaco. We don't own the roads, so the most that you can do is be respectful to pedestrians and drivers, especially tricycle drivers. They're only there to, make a good living. And the last thing you want to hear is cyclists shouting at fellow friends. Now I'm giving instructions to Tommy just to manage it a little bit, okay? Not too fast because according to Z, he's starting to struggle. We are 25 kilometers to the finish line. Very close. But Z is starting to struggle and the lack of mileage is starting to get into him. So we just try to help him out by managing the speed. And having a double pace line gives him more shelter around. So Charles is beside him. So Z is the guy beside M, the second guy on my right, on the black helmet. Doc Banzon is the female rider on the Bianchi bike, Celeste color bike. So 30k to go. I stand corrected. So from this point on, it's 30 kilometers to the finish, and all we had to do was to help Z survive the final 30 kilometers. And the only way to do that, number one, keep him sheltered. Number two, communicate. If there's a gap, don't be embarrassed to say that there's a gap. So we try to delay speeding up. At least we can bring Z with at the final 10 kilometers. And you can see the roads. Beautiful roads, asphalt, widened roads. And we are still, I think, I consider us lucky. For this day, it never rained. And being on the last climb of the day, not sunny, it was a blessing. So we avoided heating up. Z, the rider on the black helmet, is now behind me, and you can see that he's really struggling with the gradient. So I get the attention of Tom just to slow down for a little bit, because I was told by M that Z is struggling a little bit. And you can see it from his body language. He's really, really struggling. So we try to just manage the speed. Although a gap is opening up, he has to call the attention. He has to call my attention. I mean, tough guy, Z. I mean, considering he's really suffering, but it really helps when you have teammates around you. It gives you that mental boost. Cycling is very physical, but sometimes the mental, psychological advantage of having people around you, especially your teammates, knowing that you're being helped, really, really helps a lot. It's still a long climb. This one is really, really a long climb. So, just to make sure that Z doesn't get a gap, I instruct him to go to the front in front of Tommy so we can monitor him, and at the same time he can dictate the speed. Having him in front with nobody in front of him, it now gives him the psychological advantage of riding his own pace, and everyone has to follow. So now we're at 9% gradient. Z is working hard, but we could almost smell the summit. So all he has to do is just survive this final climb, and he's going to have a ticket going home. That would be 20 kilometers to go. Charles and Tom, if you need a helping hand, we'll be there. Anything just to help him out. That's the beauty of team-centric cycling. You don't just think about yourself, you think about the whole group. And the guy who's really weakest and suffering, we rally behind that guy to bring him to the downhill. And this is the downhill, that's it. So it's done. We're now headed home to the finish line. And Z has survived the 20 kilometer to go mark. How happy we were that at least he's now at the 20 kilometer mark. Last year, with Ono and Nikki joining us, there were only 4 of us: me, Tom, Nikki, and Ono. Last year, Nikki and Ono detached from us with 40 kilometers to go. So that was a long one. At the 20 kilometer mark, we started to see a lot of attacking. So those are some of our competitors who started to attack and break away. And true enough, it started splitting, but we could not just close the gap. We had to bring everyone there. So when there were 2 guys in front breaking away, We had to make sure that we had the whole team intact, especially Z. If we can just bring him to the final 10 kilometers, we'd be very happy. So now we start picking up the pace. I think we were going around 40 to 45 kilometers per hour at this point, trying to close the gap to those two gentlemen in front. Because they were rested for the whole ride, they had enough firepower to really make a difference and do a breakaway. We just had to dodge and find our way and the highway safely by being predictable. And you can see in front that flashing light of the motorcycle, that's a breakaway. So those two strong gentlemen were working together to break away from our group. But we knew with 15 kilometers to go, there was enough time for us to close the gap. So just like so, Z is still there on my left side, guy in the black helmet. And this bridge was very iconic last year. This is where Tom and I started to really bring down the torque and the pedal. We were going, I think, 45, 48 kilometers per hour just to close the gap. So it's the same as this year. This time we needed Charles to help us close the gap. So if you remember my story a while ago on the 30th kilometer mark, Nikki, Charles, and M, all they had to do was just take a rest because we will be needing them in the final 15 kilometers. And just like on cue, Charles now with 15 kilometers to go has to start upping the pace. All that energy that they saved in the first 60 kilometers of the ride, this is where we will need their pure concentration and power. You can see M tightening up the shoe because we're now approaching the outskirts of the city. Once you start getting here in Legazpi, it means that we are very, very, very close to the finish line. So we're now very desperate because we're approaching the final 5 kilometers of the event and we still could not see the breakaway group. But you just have to start trusting the program. So that's my job. I'm giving Charles time checks, giving him kilometer checks, making sure that he is aware of the distance to the finish line plus the distance to the breakaway group. So all that feedback gives Charles the confidence that we will be closing the breakaway. All he has to do is just trust the communication, trust the numbers. So you can see here, M is given the instruction and Nikki to rest as much as they can because this cycling challenge will be set up for them. It's their first time. So we just had to make sure. Now we find the first remnants of the breakaway. So these two gentlemen who broke away a while ago, finally we find them. So we caught them with 5 kilometers to go. But it's not over yet. There were still a few more breakaway individuals in front. There were still 3. And these guys are triathletes on aero bars. So we knew that we had to really, really, really push hard. M and Nikki, they just had to stay on the draft, stay as calm as possible. And we just have to take care of the speed to close the gap. So 2 down, 3 to go. A little bit of gap coming up because we were going 50, 52 kilometers per hour at this point, but we just had to push it. When you watch the Tour de France, it's always the same story. The closing kilometers are the hardest one. And this is where you really have to be patient, maintain the gap. Tom was there to, shield me. But Charles, this was his work. This is where he was prepared for the entire day. That's why we gave him a disc wheel because we knew the closing kilometers had to be really, really, really fast. Slowly, we could see 2 guys in front, and seeing those 2 guys in front was very encouraging. When you see the rabbit in front of you, it just gives you more confidence of going faster and faster and faster. And going fast, you have to maintain your posture. A lot of people, when they start going fast, they start bobbing around, moving around. and Doc Banzon was still there. I mean, kudos to her. She literally is one of the fastest amateur doctors out there. That she can claim. As soon as we turn left, we see a small glimpse of the two breakaway guys, and but still not over yet. We still had to really, really, really push, and Charles is being given the instruction to keep on pushing non-stop. So this was a very hard, super hard 5 kilometer team time trial. If you were there watching or even joining, wow, it was super adrenaline. I mean, the adrenaline was off the charts, but even at high speed, you have to maintain that trust on your teammate to be in front of you. You cannot be wasting a lot of energy from unnecessary movement because at these speeds, you still had to save a lot of energy for the final 1 kilometer. And that is always the script. The smooth roads really, really helped a lot, and we were very lucky to have our men in uniform, and boom, we got the two guys in front. I mean, that was the one guy, so there was still one more guy in front. Our friend from Laos, he was on a mission. He was on a breakaway, and he was the final person that we have to catch with 1 kilometer to go. So at this point, we had 3 kilometers to the finish. A little bit of a panic, we have to admit, but as soon as we had him on our crosshairs, it was just a mission to close the gap and bring M and Nikki closer to the breakaway. Charles was really, really dying, closing the gap, but this is what makes it so exciting. There he is. So we found him in front of this motorcycle in front. We were so happy to see him. We were so happy to see him. 3 kilometers to the finish line, close the gap. Now that's teamwork with 3 kilometers to finish, approaching the final 2.5 kilometers. The moment that we catch him, we find out that it was still not him. So this is the second guy on a breakaway, and there's still one more guy, the guy on the black uniform. So 3 kilometers to go. We still have not caught the final breakaway of the day. Our friend from Laos. We had 2.5 kilometers to go, and we still had one more guy to catch. One more guy to catch. That corner took us by surprise. So there was a small gap with Charles. I had to shout that he had to wait. Tom, he had to close the gap. Well, he did a good job because he was able to bring Nikki and M closer to us. Charles was doing a good job closing the gap, but we had to have a sense of urgency because we were approaching the 2 kilometer to go mark. And finally we found and got him. So this is our friend from Laos. 2 kilometers to go. This is where the excitement starts to reel. Well, yeah, he's doing the old school weaving around, trying to get us off his wheel on the draft. But, well, Charles was like a glue. We just had to find ourselves along the traffic without shouting, of course. You can shout at people. And as soon as Charles gets the cue, I said, hey, not yet, not yet. We had to be patient. We came from a really long chase, so we had to, bring the guys all together. M took the volunteered to be in front just to control the speed, take a rest because Charles did a really long pull. So it's now Charles' job to take a rest, and M, it's his job now to, give us a breather. So that's when the teamwork comes into play. Tank is behind me taking a rest because we did all the job prior. Nikki, 100% has to take a rest. Charles is in front of me behind M. In team cycling, teamwork plays a vital role in the overall success. And with the Tour de France playing, you could see how Jumbo Visma and UAE uses their riders, their team, to chase breakaways and conserve energy. So it's the same thing here. Being here and closing the gap to the breakaway in the final 1.5 kilometer was epic. This is what legends are made of. So Charles is asking me, should I attack now? I said, no, not yet, not yet. And then as soon as I give him the cue, he attacks. So the element of surprise is very important at this point. Charles attacks, and our friend from Laos will try to close this gap. So my job now is to delay the entire group. That small delay will give Charles a chance to, break away. And as soon as our friend from Laos breaks away, it's now the job of Nikki and M to close that gap. Tom and I, our job is done. We are done. And this is with 500 meters to go. We're back at the city center, going to the finish line. Tank, me, done. So now you can see from the split screen that the boys are gone. Literally gone. They're now headed to the finish line. We just have to bring Tom. We just have to bring ourselves to the finish line and hope that we get the winning podium. It's not a race. It's a challenge, but sometimes we can play a game and congratulate everyone on the finish line. So this is it. This is the final corner to the finish line. 200 meters to go. Break. Hard braking. And that's it. That's the finishing arc. Clear roads, well organized, and it's time to celebrate. Good job for the boys. Thank you very much for watching our adventure at in Albay. Finish line, everyone was there. So it's a party atmosphere. I can guarantee you guys, next year, if you have a chance, drop by. And it's all about congratulation. It's all about high-fiving everyone, especially high-fiving the organizer. That's JCI, the people, the organization behind. So we got first, second. And our friend from Laos made it so exciting. Just exciting. A beautiful day indeed, and enjoy the sights and sounds of the final epic episodes. Cycling is beautiful. If you have a chance, if you need a community to learn how to cycle, let us know. You are more than welcome to join our rides. Being part of the CRZ community does not mean you have to have bike fitting or coaching. Just join us. So, Doc Banson did a good job. First female to finish. And good news, we broke our record from last year. Finally broke our record from last year, and now it's time to take photographs of everyone for a good job. Very nice job. As we take our photographs, we're going to be waiting for everyone to finish and congratulate. And the beauty of cycling challenges is you cheer for everyone. We're going to be staying here until the last finishers arrive. It's a very small token, but means a lot to a lot of the finishers to find people cheering for them as they arrive. Everyone received a well-deserved medal, beautiful medal. Everyone got their chance to have their moment in front of the stage, and the obligatory photo op, of course.
Thank you. So we got 1, 2. Good job, JCI. We had so much fun. Okay, let's raise the hand. Raise the hand. Okay, hand. Thank you. Sapa, one more.
And behind us, we had this amazing band. It just made it so fun. I mean, it was like a fiesta atmosphere to be greeted by a group of, that's Charles. So Charles won first, and second was M. Everyone was dirty, of course, but it was all worthwhile. Charles and M first, second.
Wow, this medal is, we really worked hard for this. The Mayon challenge is really a challenge. So we wanna thank you to our friends from JCI. This guy, sports tourism really helps the local economy. I think these guys, wow, they did a lot of really good job. The whole course was really clean. Traffic, the policemen were perfect. This stage is fit for, it's like I joined an Ironman, literally. So thanks for this, guys. We saw Mayon. It was erupting a little bit, but they kept everyone safe. So I want to congratulate the organization behind JCI. They even created a band. Look at that. Okay, and I'm gonna show you. Hi, Z guy. Hey Z, come on. Let's go up to the stage. Remove your helmet. Come on, boys. Go up to the stage. Go up to the stage. Come on. Go up to the stage.
Oh, we have to come visit them.
Go up the stage. Go up the stage. Come on. Go up. Okay. See. Hey, old man. Okay. Okay. Hey, my friend, sit down over here. Thank you. Remove your helmet. Thank you very much. Okay. So on behalf of CRZ, we want to thank JCI for organizing this race. Have you seen the band? That's amazing. Yeah. It's very rare we get to experience something like this. So Legazpi, thank you very much. Our friends from Laos. Okay, guys, boys, ready, set. Mayon 360. Okay, there you go. So, first, second, third. Thank you very much, boys.
After the event, we had a chance to go and give back to the community by visiting an evacuation center and give entertainment to the kids.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you again on the next leg. I mean, on the next evacuation visit.
But you know, they're probably gonna come right up here.
What I hate about is that the last thing that you want to have on those fantasy trips is the ending, right? But hopefully when we come back here, because we spoke with Ramil upstairs, general manager, said we can come back here. So we're gonna see you guys again, right?
Yes, sir. We are looking forward to for you.
See, booking for they're booking forward. Okay, so they're booking forward. So remember this hotel center in Legazpi. They have all the CCTVs. They have all the stuff. So thanks for making it easier for us to
Yes, sir. It's our
be
pleasure,
here.
sir.
And you did a really, really bad job.
Yeah.
Bad job because we feel bad going home.
It's our pleasure, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again for the management of Mayon 360 JCI. These images are wonderful. We just wanted to share it for everyone. If you have a chance again, go next year. They also have a Mayon triathlon. It's the day after Mayon 360 challenge, one of the most important bucket lists in any CRZ community ride list. And I can summarize it as something very successful because we met more friends, new faces, and it's just a totally different vibe. The guys from JCI really did a clean, organized job in bringing people together.
Man, this is so nice.
And because we were blessed with really, really good weather, the next day we decided to maybe hop in and skip breakfast and do some few laps around Legazpi Boulevard. It's one of my most, you can say, favorite boulevard in the Philippines just because you ride like an eagle. You get to go around the Legazpi Bay or Albay Bay. I'm not really sure what the name is, but on the backdrop is this magnificent, beautiful volcano acting up. But it's very surprising when we are around our friends here in Legazpi. They seem to be very resilient, happy, and they take everything in stride. To see the volcano majestically looming just in front of you while you're riding gives you a sense of peace and appreciate nature more. So, after a few laps, we decided to just move on and heard about an outreach program organized by JCI in the town of Ligao because of what's happening in the volcano vicinity. And out of the blue, unplanned, we just decided, and most of all, everyone decided to hop in and join Tom and I to go there. Originally, it was just Tom and I, but the boys, really wanted to take part in this project, and they skipped their original schedule to go back home and extended one more day. And I find that really, really nice, an excellent gesture of camaraderie because CRZ, the culture is all about building communities without expecting anything in return. We try to help, try to give smiles without asking for anything in return. And if that comes back with a bigger, stronger, more positive vibe of a community, I think it's worth it. A lot of people are asking how the CRZ team is going. How do we train? Technically, there is no team. The guys that you see here are not team members, but are community and family members. Anyone can join. You don't have to do this bike fitting or biomechanics as long as you love to go cycling, as long as you're free and you see us on the road. We always repeat it over and over again that you are more than welcome to join us on rides because we always feel that cycling is for everyone. Roads are there to be enjoyed, nature is there to be seen and shared over coffee. So next time you see us on the road, whether it be in Legazpi, whether it be in Tabaco, whether it be in Naga, whether it be in Ilocos or Bataan, join us and share your cycling stories and share that idea to other people that cycling can be a very beautiful sport if we share it with everyone. So today, we will look for Ligao.
So we're on our way to Ligao for our outreach program. So everyone's already geared up for it. We're just traversing the coastline of Legazpi Boulevard, one of the most iconic areas here where we usually hold the triathlon. One of the most beautiful places to go. The base, beautiful. Weather is excellent, and then as you turn the corner, you find this.
How old are you?
7.
Good luck on Saturday for your first aquathon. We also have our fun learning workshop for kids from 5-year-old
Let's go.
to 15 years old.
Let's watch him. Wow, trackers. Okay, here we go. There you go. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. So, what I want you guys to do is 5, 9. Perfect. Okay, so let's go 6 kilometers. Natural way of running when you're a kid. The only time your running starts getting like this. There you go. Hold your this. Lean backward. Start jumping. Jump. Jump. Very nice. Jumping, okay? You're like lean backward. Lean backward. There you go. Two legs. Just yeah. That can be a good. Okay, now one leg at a time like this. Perfect. 3, 2, done. Oh, that's perfect. Give me 5. Wow. Yan, takbo. Tiptoe. Op. Yeah. Tiptoe. Diretso tingin. Okay. Keep it steady. Very nice. Walk. 1, 2, 3. Very nice. 2. Done. Woo! There you go. Easy. There you go. Easy. Lean backward. Lean backward. Just stay there. This is how you tie your shoe, okay?
I know how to tie my shoe.
But you have to do it double. Lean backward on my hand. 3. Wow. That's a sprint. Wow. All you gotta do. I like their uniform. Be comfortable, okay? Start jumping, okay? Jumping with 2 feet. Up. Perfect. Okay, prepare your shoes. Make sure that you remember where you put it. All. People want to try triathlon, but the number one challenge is how to lower your anxiety in the ocean. Like literally no experience in triathlon, no experience in duathlon, Ali no experience in triathlon. So everyone gets to learn how to swim. First in the pool. Now this is the most exciting part. So the unique nature of the La Jolla Cove is that it's very newbie friendly. It's only waist deep and it's not gonna scare you. So for Vince and Ali who've never experienced racing or even swimming in open waters, this is a game changer. It keeps them really calm, less scared, because one of the biggest challenges in triathlon swimming, especially in the ocean, it's not really more on the physical, it's really more on the mental. I can guarantee you a lot of things can happen in your head, thinking about a shark, thinking about a clownfish becoming a Jaws, just because, you know, back in our childhood, when Jaws was shown, it just made swimming in open waters a lot scarier. And our objective right now is to remove that trauma that movie gave to a generation of baby boomers and made swimming in open ocean really scary. So here in La Jolla, the unique nature of training first in the swimming pool and then immediately going out and jumping into the ocean in a very glass-like, super calm open water. Because of the cove, everyone now has a chance to slowly build their confidence, slowly but surely. And this is where afternoon open water session happen, and we always invite a lot of people. You might want to try this one. All you got to do is just contact us, join us for afternoon open water sessions. It's going to be one of the most fun and effective program. Plus, aside from just swimming, you're going to learn how to sight, how to navigate in open waters. We have very qualified, you can say, instructors who are so used to swimming in open waters, and will always be there to guide you. And aside from that, there will be some games, chasing games, just like so. We let Ali and Vince go ahead, and we have to simulate the hustle and bustle and the washing machine effect of being in a real race. All these simulations create for a real life scenario. And just imagine if you just do this every afternoon, I can guarantee you on your next race, you're just going to be super comfortable being in the waters with other people. From racing, from close proximity strokes, underwater sighting, being aware of your surroundings, how to stay calm underwater, how to propel yourself underwater, how to get out of the water as soon as possible, just like so. Everything will be discussed, experienced, and talked about. And in a day or 2 days, or however many days you want to stay with us here in the camp, it's just going to be fun. See you in La Jolla for our next triathlon boot camp. Okay. Thank you. Bye.